Hey guys, it's Ellie. I'm back and let's talk about Fallout 4's DLC Nuka-World. I said in my last video, my short update video, blah blah blah, that I was going to talk incessantly about Nuka-World. All rambly like with my sick brain and whatnot. But so yeah, here I am. Talk about that with my raider hair and my flannel and yeah. First of all, I want to talk about why it's so funny that people hate Nuka-World so much. Because I get it. You're upset because Nuka-World, it could have had better quests for if you wanted to do the good thing and get rid of the raiders and whatnot. But very clearly, the point of Nuka-World is so you can be evil. Like, throughout Fallout 4's initial release, in the vanilla game, you can't really be evil very easily. Like, doesn't really work out so well. And this was a big complaint. Like, they removed the karma system, all of that. Blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, big complaint. Can't be evil. Nuka World comes out. Big complaint. Have to be evil. And, yeah. But that's the thing. Nuka World isn't for those who want to be super good and whatnot. Nuka World was made to cater to the people who wanted to play an evil character. And that's fine. Like, you don't like having your good character be evil? Kill the raiders. Do open season. You don't want to miss out on all the cool shit for playing Nuka World? Make an evil character. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But anyway, let's go on to why Nuka World is a big deal. Nuka World, assuming that it's the last DLC for Fallout 4, is the end game for the player character's story. In past Fallout games, again, disclaimer, I've only actually played 3, New Vegas, and 4. So, disclaimer on that. I only know what I've read about the first 2 games. Because they won't run on my laptop. I bought them, but I can't play them. Anyway. In Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, the DLC are considered canon. And like any game, like any role-playing game, you've got choices to make that drastically affect the story. Like, not everybody's world is the same. Not every character's world is the same because they change it so much. However, it's obvious that the writers had a story in mind. Like, with any game, with any game with continuations, there is a plot in mind. Like, for example, in Fallout 3, it's pretty accepted that the canon is that, I mean, it's generally accepted canon that the Lone Wanderer did indeed destroy the Enclave. Like, they pushed the button, they purified the water without the FEV, you know, even though some characters use the FEV. Like, some players use the FEV, but that's not the canon Bethesda went with. But I'm not counting Broken Steel, haven't played Broken Steel. I hate the Brotherhood of Steel. Not as much as I hate the Enclave, but blah. Um, but that's not what this video is about. This video is me being all rambly and disjointed and blah 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 blah. This would be so much easier if I could sit down and have a chat with someone, but I don't have any Fallout friends anymore. That's disgusting. But, yeah, where was I? As far as DLC go, I want to make a point with Fallout New Vegas Old World Blues. No matter what faction you beat the main game with, in Old World Blues, the epilogue reveals that the final fate of the courier, whether they were good or evil or whatever, their final fate is that they are the overseer of Big Mountain. And that's, the DLC revealed their fate, even though it wasn't the last DLC. But, mm, sorry, I am so disjointed. This is kinda, this is kinda one of those only watch it if you like my voice videos and blah. I really wish there was an easier way. I'm so bad at organizing my thoughts. I swear this would be interesting if you could sit and have a one-on-one conversation with me and keep me on track, but can't. I mean, you can message me, but that's a little bit different. And, mm. But yeah, let me just continue with this long and rambly video. I'm gonna make, I'm gonna use Honest Hearts to, let's compare Honest Hearts to Nuka-World. Yeah, they're totally different, whatever, blah. But here's the thing. If you, people complain because if you want to do Nuka-World with a good character, you gotta do, you get one quest, open season, you kill the raiders and you don't get the cool shit and all that. But let's look at Honest Hearts. If you're playing a very full-on Legion character and you serve Caesar and everything, you're not gonna want to crush the White Legs because the White Legs are a Legion ally. You're not gonna want to follow Joshua Graham. He's not supposed to be alive. Caesar doesn't even acknowledge that he's alive. If you're following Caesar, you're gonna want to kill Joshua Graham. And once you do, you get a quest that's basically get the fuck out of there. It's not it's not really a whole big thing for Legion players. So, you want to play the rest? Don't play a Legion character. I'm saying that as somebody who almost always plays a Legion character, so I didn't whine and bitch and complain because you can't do much with it. Because you can do a lot with it on a different character. Not a big deal. So there's that. There's a precedent for that. But let's get to why I think that Nuka-World is a big deal. I was talking blah blah blahs about canons and all that, but in Fallout 3's canon, you're the good guy, yeah, you press the button and you die. I mean, Broken Steel changes that, but you still end up wandering alone without your friends and without your companions, your friends and all that. You can't go back to the vault. It's over with. You don't have anybody. Your dad's dead. It's lonely. But you did the right thing. In Fallout New Vegas, doesn't matter what faction you supported. You end up overseeing the big empty, big mountain. And that's pretty alone. Like it's even in the epilogue, all your companions go their separate ways. You lose everybody. And then the only game that really lets you be evil in the end, because everybody can say what they want about factions in Fallout New Vegas. It's not you don't have to be evil to be in any faction. Some say the Legion's the evil faction, but no. Calling the Legion evil is like pointing at ancient Rome and calling them evil. It's just because they've got shitty ideals. I don't know. I don't want to get into that. It's not. I don't want to get into that. But yeah, Nuka-World. It's the first. Assuming that Fallout 4 is done with DLC now and Nuka-World is the final DLC, that means in terms of story, like in terms of continuation of story, this is the end game. This is where the Soul Survivor's story ends. They are. It's obviously intended that the Soul Survivor did help the Raiders, did do all of that. Because one way or another, something's canon, and there's just so much more. There's so much more story and plot if you do side with the Raiders. That's the canon, most likely. And the interesting thing about that is that this is the first time that the Soul Survivor really ends up with other people. Because the Lone Wanderer just wanders off. Clearly, because in every game since, we've been like, is that the Lone Wanderer? So, they're not settled down with anybody. I mean, they could be, but not in canon. We don't have any official record of where they are now. And in Fallout New Vegas, you're just overseeing Big Mountain. And, I mean, unless you want to count the cyborg scientists who you may or may not have killed, and the lobotomites, it's pretty lonely. All your friends are gone. But here with Nuka-World, we've got Porter Gage. He's a companion, someone your character can be really close to. And you've got well, you've got two of the gang bosses. Most people, it's probably accepted that the disciples are the ones that fuck you over. Spoilers. Spoilers. I'm gonna put a notice about spoilers in the title there. In the title there because I've been talking for a long time. So, but yeah, if you're watching this, you've either gone through it or you're okay with spoilers. So, just about everybody at this point knows that one of the gangs will shank you, will fuck you up because there's no way to be fair to everybody. And I'm pretty sure it's canon that the disciples are the ones that fuck you over, since they're the ones that are the biggest bitches to you throughout the whole thing. And, the pack, well, with the operators in the pack, they've got so much more territories in the park that suit them, like Galactic and the bottling facility. Those scream operator. And the Kitty Kingdom and the Safari Zone definitely scream pack, so there's not. Pretty sure it's canon that you fuck with the disciples. Anyway, so you've got Gage, you've got the operators, you've got the pack. You've got your setup in Nuka-World. That's where your character ends up. And they're not alone. They may be an evil son of a bitch, but they're not alone. I think that's interesting. And here's more on why that's interesting once I collect my thoughts and whatnot. Um, Thoughts. Yeah. Fuck, what was I gonna say? Damn it. Yeah. That means that the sole survivor in Fallout canon started off started off in a happy little family. And well, we don't know how happy the family was because we only see that one scene. But anyway, there's their little family, little baby, spouse, and then fucking boom, bombs go off. You're in the vault, and you lose your spouse, your baby gets kidnapped, and you go on a whole big thing to try to get your kid. Like, and the game kind of pushes the Minutemen at you, and you can finish the game with any other faction alongside the Minutemen. So it's probably canon that your players in the Minutemen. And then, you know, you find the Institute in the main story, and there's your 60-year-old son. And I don't I don't know, other people can probably contest this more or whatever, but I feel like siding with the Institute is probably is it's probably canon if you're gonna side with anybody. I don't know. Because that's your son. And I can't speak for anybody else. But if I was in a situation where I was trying to find my kidnapped son and found out he was 60 years old and leading the institute, I'd want to do anything I could for my child. I don't care if they're damn near my grandmother's age. That's my son. I don't want to go against my son. So yeah, I can't beat the game without the institute because that's my damn son. But yeah. So it's whatever faction you choose, it's canon that you found your son and he dies. One way or another, the things we know are that you came to the Commonwealth after getting out of the vault, and your husband or your husband or your wife is dead, and you track down you find the Minutemen within the main quest, so you're probably a Minuteman. You find your son dies of cancer or some shit. And then you end up in Nuka-World. I mean, Far Harbor, all of that. You go through life, then you get to Nuka-World. Then you become Overboss. To me, that feels like your character lost everything. The thing your character was holding on to throughout most of the game was, I have to find my son. I need to save my baby. Your baby's a 60-year-old man. Baby died. Your son's dead. What do you think that would do to a person? They lost everything. Who's to say they care about the world anymore? James Wire was a Minuteman. And seeing the world as it was, fucked him up, became a raider. Who's to say that thrust into the overboss position as the general of the Minutemen, the sole survivor was? Who's to say they wouldn't say fuck it? Just fuck it. What do I have to lose? Not a goddamn thing. And that may not be how your character feels. That's not how all of my characters feel. But it seems to be canon. And that puts us at further parallels with Kellogg. You know, a relatively normal man for the time that he was born. You know, being a mercenary is kind of normal. He's just a relatively normal man, has a family, loses his family, and then he becomes the villain. The sole survivor started out as a relatively normal person, had a family, lost their family, and now they're the overboss. I know this video was long and rambly and probably doesn't make much sense the way I say it, but bear with me. I've got a headache building back here and I've got major sick brain, but you know, if you've made it to this point, good on you. That's great. I appreciate it. Appreciate it a lot. And feel free to send me a note on DeviantArt, probably a goth kid. If you're one of my DeviantArt people, yeah, send me a note. Let's talk about Nuka-World. Let's talk about Porter Gage, my absolute goddamn favorite. Ooh, I'm gonna talk about Porter Gage too in a separate video. But thanks for getting this far. If you're not one of my DeviantArt people and you for some reason are on this video, you can comment below if you want to talk about it. Maybe send me a message here. Anyway, thank you and have a lovely day.